I'm away at the moment, so I will cover a Jodie Whittaker story for Doctor Who Sunday.
Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters.
Crown you Queen of the Woke!
Let's chat about it.
Please let me know what you think of this particular story I am reviewing today in the comments section below, and please do keep it friendly in the chat with each other. Today, we are looking at It Takes You Away by Jodie Whittaker, which was a story that was written by Ed Heim. So, the Doctor, Yaz, Graham and Ryan land in Norway 2018. They find a house that appears to have been deserted until they find a teenager named Hannah in it. She is blind and her father is missing. He has been taken away, according to her, by the unseen monster. It takes you away, that's what she says. The Doctor starts investigating but soon learns that there is a portal leading to an anti-zone. She, Yaz, and Graham leave Ryan behind with special instructions for Ryan with Hannah and enter the anti-zone where they meet Ribbons. He takes them through whilst secretly cutting their string that they are using in order to guide themselves back to the real world. They learn that they are in the anti-zone and that the universe makes that particular space whenever time and space is threatened, and it works to keep it at bay. The Ribbons gets attacked by the flesh-eating moths, and the Doctor, Yaz, and Graham run for it, but they come up through a different portal. They find Eric, Hannah's dad, and he is there with Hannah's mum. Little does the Doctor know that Ryan and Hannah have followed them through into the anti-zone. They too make their way through to the other portal, and Hannah realizes that this particular entity, this being, is not her mother. Grace, who has also appeared when Graham had arrived, explains that the Solar Tract universe was created to set a trap. The Solar Tract is energy that has existed since the beginning of time. However, it was not compatible with the universe, so was held back from coming into being. There's a legend that it was shoved onto a different plane where it remained trapped. When it started to pull people over, it created the anti-zone and reality begins to collapse. It then becomes up to the Doctor to convince Eric and Graham to leave the Solar Tract because obviously the fake Grace is trying to convince him to stay. When Eric refuses, she sacrifices herself and throws him back through the portal. She then asks the Solar Tract, which took the form of a frog, to let her go, which it does. She escapes and she and her companions say goodbye to Eric and Hannah, knowing that reality is safe. Oh my goodness, I think that's to complan. This is probably on the lower end of my ranking for this particular series in the terms of the story. I can't make up my mind if I like it less or not. There are good things about it and the concepts are there, but the ending to it brings it down, and the start is a little bit silly as well. The Doctor states that she thinks they landed in the Woolly Rebellion and then starts eating random plants and soil, and she doesn't know what's in them. Now, I'm trying to recall if the Doctor has ever done anything like that and eaten random plants in the wild, with it being so obvious what he's doing. Firstly, no one in their right mind would do something like that, and secondly, the way that it was filmed was in such a pointed way that it was blatant. I don't think the BBC would have received complaints or that much about it, but they would certainly have had to answer if children started randomly eating plants because the Doctor did it. It's definitely not a personal favourite scene of mine, right? Just saying. The concepts, though, are really good ones that just got let down by the beginning and the end. The setting for it is in Norway. They missed a shot with this. I did do some digging to see what the filming location was, and it was filmed in Wales with digital shots of Norway added in after. Whilst they did trick me, I do wonder if whilst they couldn't fly the cast out there, a small crew couldn't have gone and taken some B-roll footage to add to this story for the overall feel of it rather than CGI. I don't know. Maybe they did, and maybe I'm just misread what I found, but still. The idea of the deserted house in Norway with an unseen monster lurking in the woods, and later the reveal that it was the daughter's father's fear mongering, yeah, dad of the year, right there, her to stay in the house with sound effects is a good one. It shows that humans can be monsters, like we believe monsters are bad. I think I would have preferred it though if it was dealing with an entirely unseen monster for the part set in Norway as well. There's a higher element of fear factor when we can't tell what the monster is. It's kind of done with the solar tract concept, but not. I like the idea that we can't see what the solar tract truly looks like in its form, so it takes on the forms of the people that the characters loved in order to ensnare them into joining the solar tract permanently. It's a clever idea because the ones you love are the ones that you trust. There are two issues with the solar tract concept though. The first one is the explanation of the solar tract energy. It was a complete word salad. There are things in Doctor Who that get explained, and maybe I don't fully grasp it until the second watch. For this one, the wording was so dense that I ended up having to go over it a few times, still didn't pick it up, and ended up having to go and find an explanation for it online, actual written written explanation, written translation of it so I could read it and actually fully comprehend it, you know? It was like, wow, it really was a word salad. And I had to do that in order for me to be able to write this particular review, because I can't talk about this story if I don't fully understand what the solar tract energy actually was. And for me, when that happens, that's a problem. Except when I looked it up, right, it turns out that the Radio Times had done a whole explanation of the story itself. And I think the last time I saw that was 73 yards. I think it was 73 yards that had the explanation for that particular episode. In my opinion, if the Radio Times or any other website or publisher for that matter is doing that, then the plot is too convoluted or it's trying to be way too clever. What's more is that it turned Sharon D. Clarke into a frog. Well, I say that she didn't turn into a frog. The solar tract took on the form of the frog because it was Grace's favourite animal. It's at the end of the story, and the story is resulting in the Doctor asking a frog to let her go after she sacrificed herself, which you know, like her sacrificing herself, I like that to make Eric see sense, but asking a frog, like, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest with you. The resolution is an issue. I just couldn't take it seriously. The solar tract turning itself into the frog when there are so many other things it could have done, or it could have turned into the energy. I don't know. We could have seen what it looked like. I just don't know. I just couldn't take it seriously, and it drew me out of the scenario that had been played out prior to that. And which is a shame because, the concept was there in that sense. Although the solar tract bit was so convoluted, I didn't even understand it. We had this whole brilliant realization that Trinity and Grace were not real and they were part of the solar tract, to one of the best visuals and unexpected moments of Yaz being blasted through the mirror by Trini. And then we have the brilliant moments visually of reality starting to collapse due to the incompatibility of the worlds and the build up to them escaping into the real world. There was so much going on in that sense. It's quite heavy in many respects. It was all very brief but a tense moment, only for it to be bumped off after the Doctor sacrificed herself. Now, don't get me wrong, the resolution wasn't all that quick, but it had more than just a bit of a lame duck ending, lame duck start, wet fart. Yeah, which is a shame. Really, I like saying it's a shame because it had the makings of a good Doctor Who story. It most likely would have worked better with another doctor doing the story, I think, too. Although Jodie does have some better moments in this, all right? Like, for example, and I don't know if this is her mother aspect playing through here, because obviously she is a mother in real life, and maybe she's played lots of mums as well, which actually I do know. I don't know why I said maybe about that. But when they find Hannah, she plays it very delicately when asking her questions about what is happening. Other doctors may not have done it that way. And so I don't mind how she did it. I wouldn't have had a problem with how any of the other doctors would have done it either. I just like the way that Jodie delivered that particular scene. Okay. It's also quite a contrast though, because then she later smashes her head through the mirror as if she were a man. Wait, the doctor is a man. What am I talking about? Although I do like that bit, and it is something that I would consider to be conducive with the doctor. So, you know, I mean, which other doctor would smash his head through a mirror in order to get through a portal? What do you think? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section below. There's one thing that I want to point out though. There's one thing that Yaz says. Okay. She's talking about reversing the polarity. Please. I was more than just a little bit stumped as to why she would say this, because why on earth would a companion say that? I tried and tried to rack my brains and recall if the Jodie Doctor had ever said it to Yaz, because she does in the script, in my opinion, have a fair few quips that perhaps the third Doctor would have come out with, I think. But I just couldn't remember. The point I'm making is that it was a doctor line and they gave it to Yaz. Why is Yaz saying it as if she knows what she is talking about? I mean, she's a companion. She's our eyes. Sorry about the motorbike. She's our eyes into the TARDIS. And she's talking about reverse the polarity. Just make that make sense for a minute. It's a doctorism, it's not a companionism. I get it. Yaz is supposed to be smart, but is she that doctor level type of smart? And then what's up with Ryan as well? He was an absolute douchebag to that Hannah girl because her dad was gone and so was his. Surely it would be more natural for him to be on her side rather than just treating her badly because he's got daddy issues. Come on. Now, don't get me wrong, the dad, Eric, was wrong in doing what he did, right? He won't win Father of the Year for that. At times like that, you need to empathise with the child, not turn against them when they feel like that's happened already. And consistently with Ryan's own storyline as well. He has his nan and granddad to empathise with him, who appear to have taught him to have concern and care for others, even if you don't know them. I know Graham wasn't there all of Ryan's life, but certainly his nan was. And you do see that with Ryan throughout the series, yet suddenly for this one, he doesn't do that consistently. It's like he had a complete character rewrite in this one and just behaved like a total and absolute jerk towards Hannah. Okay, needless to say, the story riles me up. I won't lie. It's very tricky to be fair to it. Like I've said, there are good bits and there are good things about it. I like the fact that the action and mystery does start immediately. It doesn't waste time. That's good. That's good. The story shouldn't waste any time, particularly in stories that are only about 45 minutes long. I like the scenes in the anti-zone the most, I think. That's where we meet Ribbons. The lighting for that particular scene, the anti-zone, is red, and it was very well done in the color grading, very dark and dreary with the red lighting as well. Ribbons makeup is extremely well done, and he has a character. He's very well performed, and he's very creepy. He is the reason why they lose their way. He cuts their string, and I think he was underused. I think they could have used him a lot more. Easily the best moment is when the flesh-eating moths come for Ribbons and they come out of his face. That's pretty gross. Right, okay. I think I've ranted about this particular story for long enough. Overall, right? It's got some great concepts, absolutely. The execution of those concepts are questionable, very, very questionable indeed. I still don't rate this story very high enough because it has its major, major letdowns, beginning and end. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you when I get back from holiday. Bye bye.
Thank you for watching today. Don't forget you can join me on my other platforms as well. I've got YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, TikTok, Instagram, Locals, Substack, and I also have a Discord. Everything is linked below.